Shakur. So Brother Polight has been found guilty and has been sentenced to 7 years in prison. Let's get into it. Brother Polight arrived on the scene as a member of the so-called conscious community, which seems to be the unconscious community with all these scammers and grifters that have come out here and preyed upon the people that they're supposed to be so tenaciously trying to help. Please pay attention. But so he came onto the scene. He was out here giving the words of wisdom, being a whole motivational speaker, and then he started being accused of scamming people. One man says that Polight scammed him out of $70,000, and that was just one of the so-called victims. But now he's been charged with something so heinous, okay? Assaulting his girlfriend's 14-year-old daughter. We've all heard the allegations, and we've all heard him deny these claims and say that this was all a bunch of BS and that the charges would in fact be dropped. Well, this is a sad state of affairs, but let's continue.
You don't want to hear that? But a group of men saying that the only reason I'm getting up every morning, pause, is because this man, and you got to get on your knees to worship this man? Like, come on, why we can't have a female God? Why the brothers can't worship a female God? I mean, it's convenient for the women. Oh, Jesus woke me up every day.
I guess it was all so interesting. He was out there spewing all of this information, you know. At the end of the day, a lot of these scammers absolutely have knowledge. Yes, they're well-rounded and well-versed. This is why they're able to get over on people and to make people believe in them and their causes and act as though they're pushing a whole movement for the empowerment of people of my and their skin tone. Please pay attention. But despite all of the fame and money that Brother Polight accumulated, he still felt the need to go out here and do nefarious things, such as having multiple women, and I'm not talking about his wives, I'm talking about women even outside of his wives, and even, unfortunately, their daughters. Because the daughter that he's accused of assaulting, by the way, that supposedly wasn't the first woman that he did that to. It's likely just the first time he was held accountable for it. Please pay attention.
Yes.
So Brother Polight just seems to be delusional, okay? And he also seems to have a grandiose sense of self, as well as being a narcissist, a sociopath, and quite frankly, a pathological liar. And the funny thing is that all sociopaths are narcissists, but not all narcissists are sociopaths, and all pathological liars are also narcissists. Please pay attention. And that's exactly why he threw this elaborate party, lying and telling people that the charges were all dropped. Charges are dropped, but yet you're sentenced to 7 years in prison. I find it all very interesting, not to mention 10 years of probation after the fact. I'm sorry, but that's absolutely sickening. He's sitting there having a party and acting as though everything's fine, not taking any accountability, not having any empathy or sympathy for the trauma that he's caused this teenager and her mother, how he's destroyed their lives and how the things that he's done has negatively impacted them and will likely do so for years to come. But with that all being said, not to mention listening to the victim impact statement that was given by the mother of the child, his ex-girlfriend, he obviously has no empathy and sympathy for this, so clearly sociopathic behavior. Please, make it all make sense.
The sex offender, you did us a huge favor by admitting to guilt, period. So for that, I thank you. I truly thank you. Yes, mitigation took place, and I allowed it as long as it meant going to prison and you getting true help. Because true help means no more victims. The fact that your only non-negotiable was to accept a sex crime shows exactly the type of man that you are. You know what you did in that hotel room. I know what you did, and my daughter knows what you did. DNA doesn't lie. There's no reason why your DNA should have been found on my baby. And yes, I satisfied your bogus request to not be labeled a sex offender, but it doesn't take away from who you truly are.
Now let's look at a clip of a video that he posted just a few hours ago. Okay, earlier this morning.
Do you know that the same day that I broke up with her, in my text messages, it's proven, she said she was going to destroy my life. She was going to fuck my whole shit up. So we have motive. Do you know that I wasn't the one that asked to take her daughter to a party after 2 a.m. in the morning? Do you know what my text messages say?
So just like I said, a whole narcissist. And you heard the ex say that she honored his request to not be labeled an ex offender. Yeah, he doesn't want that title walking into prison. we know how those things can turn out. But also the fact that he's already pled guilty and that the DNA evidence showed that he absolutely did what he's accused of. He's throwing parties and trying to make people think charges have been dropped and that he's innocent, and people are just lying on him, that the woman and her daughter made this all up, and that the rest of us are just, foolishly believing this, and that we're just hating on him. This is all so ridiculous.
But to set this case free, we either sometime within the next 2 weeks, we have come to the agreement. I'm sending over an agreement to defense counsel. Just so your honor is aware, which to happen is for the defendant to enter into the plea within the next 2 weeks. But we're going to suspend the sentence. The state is asking 60 days. I know that defense is going to make some request, but we're asking 60 days so that then the defendant can surrender, because this will require.
And then what happens is one day, homie got a dress on. With lipstick. And the prosecution dropped every single sexual charge. I'm saying it again. The mother, the daughter, my accusers, in addition to the state, the prosecution, all agreed they need to drop all of the sexual charges. So yeah, it's a victory, but it's bittersweet. It's a victory because I was facing life. No parole, no probation. Now you may say, how could this be possible if a minor was so-called molested and it was DNA evidence? And people say DNA don't lie. And I always said, people do. Well, let's do this. The serologist, the expert that so-called found 6 semen stains amongst a headscarf and a t-shirt. Never mind the fact the whole rape kit said negative, negative, negative. They checked this girl for...
Okay, why the rape kit was negative is because he did not penetrate her. He did not vaginally have sex with her. That was not the case. They found semen on her scarf and her shirt, and her her mouth was swollen. Is because he was trying to get her to vomit. When he was trying to make her give him oral sex, she passed out. And when she came to, his hands was literally trying to force his fingers down her throat. And the mom, they didn't drop the charges. Okay, she didn't want a trial. She didn't want her daughter to go through this, to sit there on the witness stand and look at his ugly ass, his molestation ass, his funky ass, his pedophile ass. Yeah, she didn't want her daughter to go through that. And then by his lawyer, being his lawyer, he had to make it seem like she was uncredible and that she was a lie. And her mom did not want her to go through that. That's understandable. It really is. So that's why some charges were dropped. And yes, like you heard Dr. Sabaz say, that she dropped the registered sex offender because, for whatever reason, I guess that was part of the package deal for going to trial. And he's going to make that statement here pretty soon, that if he have to register as a sex offender, he want to go to trial. And so he knew by her not wanting to go to trial, then that was going to be put off. But nigga, you still going to jail. People still going to find out what the fuck you did. And it is what it is. Because you a sick, nasty ass bitch. And Brother Polight is a religious name. Someone stated that in my last video. So we should call him Brother Polight. So, I don't know what else to call him but a bitch ass nigga. A nasty ass pedophile. A fucking child molester. Because all I knew him was his Brother Polight. I don't know none of his shit besides when I first time seeing him was with Tasha K. That's the first time I ever heard of a bitch nigga. But I feel sorry for that girl. I really do. I pray for her healing. Because going through something like this, you can never get over it. It get easier over the years with the right treatment and counseling and therapy. But you would never forget. How could you trust a man? How could you trust anybody after this happened to you as a child? Like I said, it would get easier over the years, but you would never be the same. You would never be the same. And he caused that trauma on that little girl. And may God forgive him for what he do know. Because you can't say what he do not know, because this happened before. Like I said, he is married to the girl that he was dating her mama. The girl that he is married to now with, okay, auntie. Okay, the girl that he is with now, that he's married to now, and they had children together, he was fucking her mama. He was fucking her mama, and he was fucking her. She ran away, but then she got brainwashed, and now she's in a Stockholm Syndrome episode. Because ain't no way I'm literally gonna be with you and you was fucking my mama. No. Where to do that at? No.
5 different types of DNA, finger DNA, all types of different DNA. Checked her vagina, checked her mouth, checked her saliva, checked her excrement, checked her feces, checked her urine. Everything came up negative. You would think, because of all the violent acts I was accused of, how I came inside of her, how I came on her face, how I bust her mouth open from penetrating her so physically, that there would be some kind of trace of something, some kind of DNA. But the rape kit came up all negative. So now we're in a conundrum. So how the hell how does the DNA just skip to a t-shirt and a headscarf? Well, the serologist that did the report that labeled it semen stains, when you got high-powered attorneys such as myself, then what happens is, when you spend
Sir bitch. Well, how come those high-powered attorneys couldn't get your ass out of jail a gold free card, bitch? You want to sit here and brag about my high-powered attorneys, but bitch, you still got 7 years and 10 years of probation. And yeah, you will fail those 10 years of probation because you a nasty ass bitch, sir bitch. And only reason why you got all them women that throw themselves at you is because of your money. It's not because of you, you fucking Freddy Krueger ass looking bitch. It's not because of you. You is not the reason that them girls is throwing themselves to you. It's because of the money that you scam people out of. Bitch, you is not that nigga. And yes, they can't wait until the fucking shit is over so they can collect their money and pass go. Because you is not where it's at. Your mama should have swallowed your bitch ass.
20 grand on your defense, you have the right to do depositions. We have our own private investigator. We have our own, guess what, forensics expert. So our forensics expert said this. Our forensics expert said, we want to take a look and see what's going on over there. So when our forensics expert took a look and examined these so-called clothes with semen stains, we had some questions about how did you definitively conclude that that was semen in the first damn place. So guess what happens after that? A deposition is when we interview anybody that's part of the situation, whether it be the mother, the daughter, the people who took the 911 call, whoever. The prosecutor gets to sit in while we interview them, while there's a court-appointed stenographer that types up everything, and the prosecutor can hear everything as it goes, so they can make a determining factor if they got a case or not. Point in case, we couldn't interview the serologist, Stephanie Thompson, because she mysteriously disappears when we want to question her about how she came up with those results. I'll say it again. The person who said that there was semen stains
on... I'm not trying to like that shit. If they can put a man on the motherfucking moon... If they can send motherfuckers to the motherfucking moon, bitch, they can find that motherfucking semen or whatever the woman called. If they can put motherfuckers on a motherfucking meat moon, they can find that bitch. Okay? If Barack Obama can find, yeah, if Barack Obama can find something, then they can find that lady. Okay? Stop playing in our faces, because all of us ain't sleep woke. All of us is conscious. We see everything clear. And we can see through that ugly face of yours. We can see through your malicious ways. You tell Melissa.
The headscarf and the shirt, despite the fact the rape kit tested for 5 different DNAs, considering the egregious acts that I was accused of, the rape kit came up all negative, which science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of. Science would suggest I did absolutely none of the things that I was accused of. Okay? All right. That's what science would suggest.
And let me tell you another thing about science. What science also had done one upon a time that I was watching TV. A man was eating a powdered donut, got pulled over by the motherfucking cops because he was trying to eat fast while he drive. He was eating a powdered donut. He got pulled over by the motherfucking police. Police pulled his ass over, told him to get out the car because they see some powdered substance. They test the powdered substance, and it came positive as cocaine. He ain't never did drugs a day in his motherfucking life. And why he haven't did drugs a day in his life? Because he had a good ass job and he didn't want to lose it. So he had to prove that that powdered donut came from the donut shop and it was not covered in cocaine, but it was a powdered substance. So some of these tests be fucking wrong. So that girl told me you just had 5 different segments, but you were lying. You heard that on TV. And like I said, if they consider motherfucker to the motherfucking moon, bitch, they can find that syringe, that lady that did all that shit you talking about, bitch. Because I hate to keep pausing to look at that ugly ass face of yours. Oh, child. Just disgusting.
But here's this woman talking about this DNA evidence, and then now when we call her so we can interview her, get a deposition, and have it on record with my attorneys questioning them based on the findings of our forensic expert, she's nowhere to be found. So you know what we could do now? We could file a motion to dismiss the DNA for the case. That's what we could do. Because if we go to trial, we won't be able to cross-examine her because suddenly she disappears. She works for some private company and no one could find her.
They couldn't find but like either. But they found that motherfucker in the cave.
All the while, the state been giving me opportunities to plead 20 years sexual offender.
They couldn't find water on the planet, but they found it.
Give me 1 day in prison. So long as you got that label registered sex offender on there, I'm going to trial.
See, and that's why that shit was taken off, is because he just said it. If you put that sex register on there, he going to trial, and the mom didn't want to put her daughter through that shit. So that's why a lot of the charges was dropped. But bitch, if the charges was so much fucking dropped, bitch, that's what the charges was dropped. He wanted that sex registry out and the sex offender shit out. That's what was dropped. But the charges was not dropped, nigga. Because if the charges was dropped, bitch, why are you still going to jail for 10 years? Why are you still going to jail for 7 years? I mean, ain't nobody gonna have their charges dropped and still pull a rabbit out their ass and still go to fucking jail. Now, if all the charges is dropped and I still go to jail for 7 motherfucking years, somebody gonna have to explain themselves. So, nigga, stop with the bullshit. You may fool some of them other motherfuckers, dumbass motherfuckers, but you can't fool the conscious people.
So long as you got that label there, registered sex offender, I'm going to trial because I can never make a plea to something like that. So guess what happens?
What?
The state says if we ever want to do interviews, depositions, if we ever want to get a deposition from the mother and a deposition from the daughter, all bets are off. They'll never do an agreement with me. They said they'll never do an agreement. Never do an agreement. Work out an agreement or a plea. I said, I don't give a... My attorneys will tell you straight up, because when you see my attorney video, he's going to tell you straight up. From day one, I said, I'm never doing an agreement to any sexual charges. interview the mother and the daughter. So they are the last of our depositions. We got the police body cams. We realized that the police report contradicts the affidavit that they did. The affidavit contradicts the interviews that they did on the body cam.
Prove it.
So we got 3 contradictions. The story
Say
that the
it.
mother and daughter tells on the body cam,
Prove
the
it.
stories that they told in the police report, and the stories that they tell
Show it.
on the affidavits. None of them
Prove it.
work out. And I'm going to speak about that.
Prove it.
Well, ultimately, we want to interview them.
Show
So when
it.
we interview them and do our depositions, have the
Prove
prosecutor
it.
sit there, we already know where they're lying.
baby. Prove it.
We already know their lies. We looked at every
Show
single,
it.
each of the 3 different types of lies they said
Prove
for that
it.
night. So guess what's going to happen when we get to
Show it.
interview them? We're just going to ask them
baby.
questions so they can
Prove it.
contradict themselves. So when we go to court, we can ask them which story is true and why did you lie?
No, why
So
you
the
lie,
prosecutor
bitch?
hits us again. Well, you know he's going to be facing life. We're in the week now where we got to interview the mother and the daughter to get the deposition. So guess what happens 2 days before the mother and daughter are supposed to fly into town for us to get the depositions? They call. After a week ago threatening me, 2 days before the mother and daughter are supposed to fly out, they say, hey, we drop all the sexual charges. Huh? They say we're dropping all the sexual charges. And let me add something to this. Y'all heard this crazy story that I called a grown woman and asked if I could take her 14-year-old girl to a party. And y'all believe that bullshit. But guess what my text messages say? My text messages say, she asked me. Oh, hold on, let's reverse. Do you know
Prove
that
it.
we broke up that same day?
Prove
and
it.
Within a day, within 24 hours, she filed a criminal complaint. Let's add some
Prove
more color
it.
to it. Do you know that the same day that I broke up with her, in my text messages, it's proven she said she was going to destroy my life. She was going to fuck my whole shit up. So we have motive. Do you know that I wasn't the one that asked to take her daughter to a party after 2 a.m. in the morning? Do you know what my text messages say?
So this woman called you at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, 2 o'clock in the a.m. She called you and told you to take her daughter out to the fucking club or to take her daughter anywhere at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you said, okay. Because how did her daughter get? How did her daughter get into all this? And so you saying that she's lying on you, and you told her, hell no, you a grown ass. I'm a grown ass man, and she a fucking kid. So why are you still getting 7 years in prison, then, bitch? So she called you and told you to take her fucking daughter out at 2 o'clock in the motherfucking morning, and you was like, hell nah, nigga, what's wrong with you, bitch? You got me fucked up. And so she's a child. But how are we still getting charged 7 years in prison? Make it make sense, bitch. How are you still getting charged for 7 years in prison? If all this that you say is true. So that song by Tory Lanez, say it, show it, prove it, bitch, nigga, say it, show it, prove it. Text messages. The case is literally over, bitch. You're going to jail. You're being sentenced. So you can show us all that shit now. You know, she said all that shit and we not. Go ahead. Show it to us. You're talking about the charge dropping and all this kind of shit, nigga. You know, a lot of shit you want to be hidden because you don't want people to know what really happened. And we're only going by what Tasha K said and what the shit that we could find out in the court. So a lot of shit was hidden. But now you already physically charged and shit like that. So you're going to jail. You're going to be sentenced. We don't know what day. But so go ahead and you know, you ain't going to get in trouble. I mean, you know what I mean? You ain't going to get in trouble, my nigga. So go ahead and show it to us, nigga. We ain't going to tell nobody. We ain't gonna tell nobody. We won't tell not a motherfucking soul. Go ahead and drop them text messages, nigga. Show it to somebody. Leak it somewhere. Leak it to somebody. Shit, you was showing your wife and somebody was behind you with their cell phone, and that's how we got it. You know you a snake ass bitch. You know how to slither in certain places without trying to be seen. Put your molestation hat on and show it and prove it. That's all we asking, nigga.
She contacted me and asked me to take her daughter out to a party
Wow.
after 2 a.m. in the morning, and I vehemently declined. I said, what the hell do I look like as a grown man?
Using big
Taking
words.
a 14-year-old that obviously looks like a minor to a party. Y'all don't know that, though.
Show it.
All of this is in my text messages.
Prove
Y'all
it.
don't know that, though.
Prove it.
So you say, well, then, Polight, then you should be clean. I should be, but unfortunately, the mother turned her daughter in.
Yeah, she should.
Daughter got high and intoxicated because I'm not the one that turned them in. Now we dealing with child abuse and delinquency of a minor. If they could, so I'm like, let's fight it. Let's fight it. So my attorney's like, I just want you to understand that this child abuse in Florida, aggravated child abuse, from the child being intoxicated, they can give you 30 years in prison. I'm like, man, take the goddamn agreement. If
So you telling me that a child is not yours? It's your girlfriend's child. Stay with me, y'all. So my girlfriend, this is hypothetically, y'all. So my girlfriend's daughter snuck out the house, and she got drunk and she was high. She came back home. I'm just over here for a fun time, meantime, you know, nothing serious. I'm just over here, you know, getting off some rocks, hypothetically. And then the daughter come home. She drunk, she high. And so I'm not gonna call the police. It ain't my motherfucking kid. I'm over here just to get my rocks off with the mama. Hypothetically, I'm speaking. So since I didn't call the police, because I'm fucking the mama, and if I call the police, then and something happens to the daughter, she get locked up because she did some fucking fugazi shit while she was high and drunk. The mama gonna be mad at me, and she ain't gonna want to give me no more, you know. So I'm not finna mess that up between me and the mama, calling police on her daughter, and the daughter get locked up hypothetically. So you telling me I'm with a female that I'm seeing, and she come back drunk and high, and just because I didn't call the police, I'm getting charged for some shit, and not both of us, because she's the biological mama. I'm just fucking her, and I ain't been knowing this woman for a long time. I'm about maybe a few weeks or whatever. It's not long enough for her to call me stepdaddy. It's not long enough for me to call her my stepchild. So I'm gonna get arrested because I didn't call the police. Do that make fucking sense, people? Do that make fucking sense? If that's a law in motherfucking Florida, well, y'all motherfucking niggas better not be dating bitches with kids. That's all I can tell you. Y'all motherfucker, if that's the motherfucking law in motherfucking Florida, bitch, y'all better not be dating no bitches with no kids, especially no teenagers that want to be rebellious and shit like that. So if that's the motherfucking law, I can get charged for some shit that I didn't do. For how he trying to explain it, for some shit that I didn't do. And I didn't get the girl no alcohol, I didn't get the girl no drugs. I'm just fucking the mama. And I didn't call the police because I don't want to mess nothing up between me and the mama. And I can get charged for this shit. If that's the motherfucking law, y'all niggas bet not be fucking no woman or man that got motherfucking children. I'm just saying, because that's how he put it. I'm just putting it in the ghetto term. You dig? Yeah, the ghetto way. He trying to put it in a pedophile way. Mm-hmm.
Under what circumstances? If they could convince a jury that whether you gave her alcohol or you was aware that she was high at any point in time and you didn't turn her in, but since the mother did, you could be subject to 30 years. So I said, let's make a goddamn agreement, man, and let's work this thing out. So still gotta sit
I'm
down
not gonna agree to a shit.
But it is what it is. Blessings in abundance is bittersweet.
Bitch, I'm not finna agree and do a plea deal to shit. But still, again, I see why people take these plea deals, because for the fact that you putting your life in the hands of fucking 12 strangers plus the fucking judge. And you don't know how this shit gonna go. God knows that you didn't do nothing. I know I didn't do nothing. The motherfuckers over there know I didn't do nothing. But instead of getting all, you know, you get less time. You get less time when you do a plea deal. So you said, fuck that less time. I want to get the fuck off because I know for a fact I didn't do nothing. God knows too. But still, you have to prove. You have to prove to 12 strangers that I didn't do shit. And they, you know, how the evidence come out, it may prove a little different, but you know, and God knows that you didn't do nothing, but the evidence may prove a little bit something else. You know how shit may go. So I see why people take plea deals, but I'm not gonna plead to shit. I'd rather take that fucking chance on, you know. But then again, it's like a lose-lose situation. You gotta put your life in the hands of 12 fucking strangers and a judge. And then you got to admit to something that you didn't fucking do. And you know you didn't do it. And God know you didn't do it. But in this case right here, he took that plea deal because he know he was a funky, nasty ass bitch. He knew he was a child molester. He knew he was a molester. And he didn't want that reputation. That's why he took that plea deal. It's not because he didn't do nothing wrong. It's not because none of that shit he said. He just didn't want to label as a registered sex offender. That's why that bitch took that plea. And I don't know what's up with this conscious community. I'm not saying all. I'm saying some. Only a handful of y'all. Why the fuck is always gotta be a nigga in there? A nigga. When I say nigga, my color, my skin tone, my people. How come it always got to be us that's doing unthinkable things to fucking children? I can't speak on the other motherfucking race because I'm not one of them. I can't speak on any other race because I'm not one of them. I'm speaking on us as American, black Americans. How come in a country community it's always somebody in there taking advantage of somebody's kids? How come it's always somebody in there scheming and scamming and plotting on somebody? But I can't speak for them. So don't come in my comment section and say, black folks ain't the only person that's doing this. Bitch, like I said, I can't speak for them because I'm not them. I'm black American. It's always us hurting us. But if you're here for the first time, welcome. Subscribe to the channel if you want to do so. I am your host with the mostest. I am Queen Red, and thank y'all for tuning into House of Queens TV, and I will see you guys on another one. There's a thing called life. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Put your faith in God, He will see you through. Put your faith in God, He will see you through. God love you. I hope you love yourself even more. Keep it in mind, it'll get greater later. I'll catch y'all on another one. Have a great, safe, blessed weekend.